Hey everybody, welcome back to Karate 360. I'm one of the hosts, Richard Mosdell.
I'm the other host, Kalan Anglos, and hello guys, this is episode 20 of Karate 360.
We made it to 20.
Made it 20. 20 in Japanese is what again?
Niju.
Niju. So this is episode Niju.
Or Hatachi.
Okay.
Or Hatachi.
Or Hatachi.
That's right.
So Niju or Hatachi.
That's right.
When would you use one over the other?
There's too many situations to go by it. So
Okay, you just need to know.
Just need to know.
Okay, so
Right.
Episode Niju or Hachi.
Hatachi.
Hatachi. Hitachi, like the TV.
Yeah,
Hitachi.
like Hitachi.
Okay. Well, anyways, this is episode 20 of Karate 360. And yeah, we want to welcome you guys again. Thanks for listening in week after week. These come out Monday mornings. Before we get started, we just want to talk a little bit about some karate tournaments, well, that have already happened or coming up. As you guys are listening to this on Monday morning, the K1 in Paris will have just wrapped up.
Hold your seats. It's happening right now.
It's happening right now for us, but
but
when they hear this, it'll be over.
We are not going to talk about it because it'll be too soon after. We'll talk about it on the next podcast.
That's right. We'll break down all the results. We'll talk about what happened at the K1 in Paris. Our very own Craig Devlin, the national team coach for Team Canada, is over there as well, so we'll get some input from him. And yeah, we'll just talk about that next week. However, coming up that we can talk about is the Karate Canada National Championships in Quebec City from February 24th to 26th. We will be there. We will be cold, I am told, but we will be there. Also coming up, the U.S. Open, the biggest tournament in North America from April 14th to 16th in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then finally, later on this year, not finally, but the big one this year,
Canada Open Karate Championships.
And June 3rd, 4th in Richmond at the beautiful Richmond Olympic Oval Center.
Right beside Vancouver.
Yeah, so come to those warm-up ones. Get ready for the Canada Open. And again, you can be the first Canada Open champion.
That's right. Karate 360, let's start the show. You will kick high and I will sweep low. From local to global, the thing that we love. Karate!
Sanokumaru. That song is really starting to, grow on me. I really like it. It's growing on me. It's good. Yeah, I think it's fun, quirky.
It's quirky. We have to start practicing the Japanese too. So everybody learns the Japanese.
That would be good.
Back in was it the 70s? Like the Sukiyaki song, there was a famous Japanese song which went to top 10 on the pop charts, and it was all sung in Japanese.
Really?
Yeah, people could remember lines of it. And I remember meeting people who could sing the whole thing.
Wow. Well, pretty soon.
Older people.
Yeah. Was this the 40s or 50s?
Okay. Well, I know there's some black and white pictures on the wall.
There is some black and white pictures. And on that note, as we get here, we're recording on Friday. Mm-hmm. Somebody had a birthday yesterday. I wonder who that could be. A young, spry.
That's right.
25 or something like that?
Plus 20.
Plus 20, somewhere around there. How was your birthday? What did you do for your birthday?
Well, I got woken up by my son at 6:30 in the morning. Jumping on my head. I'm like, wake up, Papa. I'm like, yeah. And then sang me happy birthday with a song and a dance and everything.
That's nice.
It was super sweet.
A song and a dance.
Got lots of hugs and kisses and great. Fell back asleep. Then my daughter, who's older, jumped all over me. Wake up, Papa, wake up. I'm like, okay, here comes round number 2. She goes, I need a poem.
I need a poem.
Okay. Wiping the sleep from my eyes. What do you mean you need a poem? I need a poem. I forgot to do my homework last night. Everyone today is supposed to bring a poem and tell their poem to the whole class. I need a poem. Forgot to do it. I said, you're supposed to do your homework at night. yeah, whatever. Okay, well, how's this? This is a good poem. Happy birthday. She said, oh, yeah. Okay, happy birthday. Anyway, so I need a poem. And so I'm wiping sleep from my eyes. All right. Here's a poem. Me, we. She goes, that's not a poem. I say, yeah, it's a poem from Muhammad Ali. It's one of the shortest poems in the world. She goes, yeah, no, give me a real poem. I'm like, all right, hang on a sec. So then my brain said, well, you are Japanese. So I said to her, why don't you use Japan's most famous poem? She goes, what is it? So we learned it when you were in Japanese kindergarten, but the English version is, an ancient pond, a frog jumps in, the sound of water.
Ooh, haiku.
It's a haiku, yeah. An ancient pond, a frog jumps in, the sound of water. It's written by a poet named Basho.
Okay.
Hundreds of years ago. And she starts writing it down. How do you spell ancient? And this, okay, this is going to work for you. Like, this is the most famous. It's original in terms of no other, but nobody else is going to be bringing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the teacher liked the haiku version of it. And it's okay, it's going to work. It's going to work. But what does it mean? So, well, water is time. It's an ancient amount of time. Water is the idea of passage of time. The frog is life. And life jumping into time means life is happening. But you can see the ripples in your mind after the frog jumps in and disappears. That things have a moment in time and then they're over. That's what it means. And she kind of looked at me like really hard, like, oh, it's kind of a downer poem. Okay. Then she took off. And then at night, I was like, okay, so how did it go over the poem? Like, did it go over well? Like, did they like it? Teacher like it? I was sort of thinking the teacher might like this one. And she said, no, by the time we were walking to school and I told Mom said, no, that's a dumb poem. Do something else.
Do a different poem.
I'm like, it's not a dumb poem. It's the most famous poem.
Yeah.
Like, you take any Japanese literature class, that's the first thing you learn.
Listen here, Emma. You woke me up.
You woke me up. Jumped
you
in my
asked
head.
me for a poem.
That's right.
Didn't even say happy birthday on my birthday.
Exactly.
I give you gold, and you don't even take it.
It was gold. Anyway, so the rest of the day was just downhill from there.
Yeah. That's right, like I told you before. So James got a big feast for a breakfast.
That's
and
right.
Emma had to walk to school.
That's right. That's right.
How dare she?
It
Otherwise, how was your birthday?
was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was one of those ones where everyone just said, whatever you want to do, just go and do it. I still taught in the karate class. And so when the karate class showed up, I said, we're just going to have tons and tons of more fun than we normally have. And we did. And at the end, the kids were like, can it be your birthday every day? Because there were flying sidekicks and takedowns.
They're going to come to the next class and someone's going to say, it's my birthday, actually.
Exactly,
today.
exactly.
Yeah, right.
I was showing them like the samurai swords.
Whoa. Bring out the shinai?
Well, all kinds of stuff. And I only show them samurai swords. Like, I have a real samurai sword here.
Yes.
And I only show it to them if they're really, really, really good. As if one person gets a warning or a timeout, that's it. No one gets to see anything. So.
Yeah. Hey, here's something. Now that you mentioned samurai sword, kind of something I heard maybe a long time ago. Maybe it's myth, but you will absolutely know. Samurai swords, I was told, you can't unsheath them completely, or else you have to draw blood. I don't know if that's a myth. That's why I guess in the movies you only see them pulling it out when they show somebody a sword. They only pull it out about halfway. And then there's the sword, and then they put it back in.
Well, the blade wants to drink.
That's right. The blade has to drink.
I think some of that's myth.
Okay.
Some of that's like, once you draw the blade, it has to be used, which is really what they're trying to say.
Yes. Yeah.
And maybe in the Gori no Sho, which is the Miyamoto Musashi book, the Book of Five Rings, I don't know if he writes about that, but that I think that's also a bit of like pulp fiction.
Sure, adding to the mysticism
Right.
of samurais.
Because when a samurai trains, or there's no more samurai anymore. There are still ninjas, but
and as we know, Tom Cruise was the last samurai.
Oh, there we go. Exactly. I mean, obviously they would have to pull the sword all the way out to train with it, right?
That makes sense.
So when they're on the job, it'd be like saying to a police officer, like, if the gun comes from the holster, you're firing.
You have to shoot it.
You're firing around. But I understand the seriousness of it. So, there might be something to that. What's interesting about Budo, and not the grape, because Japanese Budo means grape. Another way of writing it, Budo means martial arts,
yes.
right? Is that in 2005, there was a symposium of all these like professors and scholars who read everything about Budo. And they couldn't agree on what it meant. They knew it meant something about martial arts, but they couldn't agree on all the, when you draw the blade, if you don't pull it all the way out, do you have to cut your finger? Or, does it mean you're trying to perfect yourself? Does it mean, and at the end of the day, it just means what you want it to mean.
Yeah.
So some people outside Japan are trying to be more Japanese than the Japanese. Yeah.
On that note, here's another question for you. It just came to my head, just popping them through here today.
Fire
you have
away.
lots of books in your office.
I have
there
books
was
in my office.
one karate or Budo book that you could recommend for everybody to read, everybody in karate. What would it be?
Other than Sunny Leeds
Other than
Volume
Sunny
1?
Leeds Volume 1, which the Budokan is on the is on the cover. I
That's
don't know
right.
if you've heard, but it is on the cover.
Well, okay, so you should read that one because in the back, it explains how the karate world in Japan is organized right now. So that is kind of, a go-to textbook. But for other books, so one karate book to read one to rule them all, one to bind them and bring them together. It's a really good question. My favorite book maybe about karate is by, actually you might have seen it today because it was out of the office. It's by Hidekazu Kanazawa.
Yeah.
Kanazawa sensei. He runs the Shotokan Karate International Federation, SKIF, Kyokusai Shotokan.
Okay. And the book is called?
The book is called Karate or My Life. Hang on a second.
Karate My Life. Is it called maybe Karate My Life? Because as you go and check this, I think the reason it was out of the office is because I took it out of the office. And I think, well, I know the reason why I used it was to prop up the projector on to show a video to the Camosun College students today. So really showing my respects to it. However, I did notice that after I took it off, one of the Camosun Karate Camosun College students was reading it. So obviously they were a little bit interested in it and kind of looking at it. But Karate My Life. By who did you say that one was by?
Hidekazu Kanazawa. It's called Karate My Life, and it's a translation by Alex Bennett. Alex Bennett is a professor from New Zealand. He teaches at Kyoto I think it's Kyoto University. He's a kendo guy. He's a really good translator for martial arts stuff. So he does a book, and this one is great because this is Kanazawa Sensei was famous in the Shotokan group, and he went through the Takashoka University Karate Club, which is famous for where the JK came out of. And he's very humble but awesome approach. And I actually have met him many, many times. I used to live one train station away from where he was.
Okay.
So this is a really good book just about training and history of karate and stuff. So that's a good book to read. And if you want to understand, and it's not bad, there's some propaganda in this one. There's a book that actually you can order called Budo Perspectives, another volume 1. They haven't come up with volume 2. This was actually put together by Professor Alex Bennett, around 2005. And again, we'll put the link. I think he sells it off Kendo World website where he makes the magazine. And this one talks about, it's got a whole bunch of essays, and it talks about what is the meaning of martial arts and what is the meaning of Budo. Some of it's kind of esoteric, and I don't believe in anything that is like, I like thinking about Zen philosophy, but not religion, because I'm not religious.
Right.
So, so there's that one. There's one that the Budokan actually put out called Budo, the Martial Ways of Japan. This is actually really good. It's another, actually Alex Bennett also translated this one.
Of course he did. It's very good looking, but like the cover is nice. It's
really well done, and it describes how you think about modern martial arts, and it goes through a lot of history, especially Gendai means nowadays martial arts, Koryu means old. But it describes actually some of the kanji and stuff like that. So again, some of this stuff is propaganda and some of it's wishful thinking. But how dare you? Did you just say that? Did he just say that about karate and martial arts? Yes, I did just say that. There's a really amazing book written years and years ago to how to describe how Japan works, like how the system works. Japan is like a triangle. So think at the top, you have politicians. The bottom one corner, you have the bureaucrats who run all the ministries in the federal and municipal level. And in the other corner, you have the corporations. So Japan runs like that.
Yeah.
Everyone's connected. And in the middle, it's the mafia.
Dragon, yeah.
And so this explains it. And then you can take, you go to Japan, you go, oh, I see everything. And it's called the Enigma of Japanese Power.
There you go.
So there you go. You asked me, I'll give you the answer.
There we go. So for those of you who haven't been fortunate enough to have an actual face-to-face conversation with Richard, you're finding out one of his true talents, which is you ask him a straight question to find one book, and he will go on and give you 4 or 5 different books. But that comes with knowledge, and that comes with the ability to like to talk about it. So that's good. There's some books for you. We'll put those links on the website when we post this.
Yeah, I should just give one answer a week, right?
No, it's good. It's good. It's good to have options for sure. So we will post those on the website, and we will get those on there out for you guys. But yeah, some good books. And like I said, you have lots of them, so you would know. First,
Kalan is sitting here beside me with his leg up, covered in ice, because he decided to do a Muay Thai kick to someone's forearms.
Yes, I haven't been chopping down enough bamboo trees apparently with my shins and my feet, because I kicked a good elbow today, and it didn't go down.
Did you catch the forearm or actually the elbow edge?
It was, I can't say for sure. It was probably more like the forearm. But yeah, those people that kind of block sometimes with their elbows in, and I just, like I said, we were getting fired up and we were going in Kumite, and it just kind of happened. Everybody's done it though.
I look over, and you're like in a deep frog squat. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Did you just get kicked in the family jewels or something? And
I assumed the position as if I did.
The position.
Absolutely.
I was like, all right, his head hasn't actually hit the mat, so I don't have to call 911 yet. He's not going to throw up. Nah, it looks like he just whacked something and he's got to deal with it. So.
Yeah, a classic shin and foot to the knee. I think every karateka has done it, and I'm sure I'll do it again. So there it is. I'm just toughening it up for next time.
Shin pads next time.
Shin pads next time.
Although
maybe.
It sounded like it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's okay. But yeah, here I sit with ice on there, ready to go.
Right on.
50 minutes on, 50 minutes off for all those that want to know how to ice properly.
Exactly. Hence has been the coaching NCCB rule for like the last 30 years.
Well,
50 on,
they got it right at least.
Yes, exactly. I remember being at the 99 Pan Am Games in Winnipeg, shooting a documentary, and John Fonseca was fighting for the United States.
Okay.
Shout out to John. He's a really famous athlete in the States, and he had this is before they allowed shin pads, and he won a gold medal at that. He's just phenomenal. I think he came off winning the Paris Open that year.
Wow.
And he clipped someone's elbow with his, I think it was left foot, and he had his foot swelled up to the size of like a real golf ball.
Wow.
On his foot.
Yeah.
And he had like no expression on his face other than just like, well, put ice on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the finals. So I think he had to fight a semifinal. So he just iced it. I have it on video.
Wow.
Total golf ball size. He iced it. By the time he got on the mat again, it was the whole bruise was totally flat.
Oh, in the finals especially. And what are you going to do? You just got to
He won the finals, no problem.
Of course he did. Yeah. No.
Yeah, but he just sat on the side like, all right, just going to have to put ice on it until I win.
Well, I think a good elbow kick and a good finger jam are probably the two top karate injuries. So I probably jammed my fingers about 100 times too.
Oh, I've broken both my thumbs.
Oh, yeah?
Punching people.
What's your worst karate injury you've ever had besides your nose?
Oh, yeah, my nose is just, don't block with your nose.
Yeah.
Worst karate injury? Well, one time I was trying out for the BC team, and the guy I was fighting was just coming back to competition, and he'd been in the army.
Oh, yes. Okay.
In another country. And he was known for fighting like full contact in karate matches, and always sometimes never making the team because he just fouled out.
Right.
Because he just killing everybody.
Yeah.
So I remember I had to fight him. He had I had dropped one weight division. He came up, and first punch he threw at me was like a movie where I just watched it pass my face, and then I watched the elbow come past my face, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And I better fight back.
That missed.
So then I kicked him really hard in the head, and nowadays it would give me a penalty, but the referees didn't like him, so they
gave
me the point. And he just stood there. He was being a army crazy guy. He refused to fall down, and so he came at me again like he's just gonna blast my head off. And then the moment he put his guard up, I kicked him in the head as hard as I could.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I'm just going to end up knocking him down or something, and I'm going to get penalized for it. But he didn't fall down, and the referee still gave me the point.
Wow.
It's like, wow. He was furious and dizzy. And then as soon as they said start, I switched to a southpaw, and I punched him as hard as I physically could muster with my left hand on a reverse punch to the chest. Yeah. And broke my hand.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't close it all the way. Like I was even so quick for me, I couldn't close my hand in time.
Yeah.
And so
and this was back before chest protectors or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And just little gloves too. Like
there was the little white ones.
Little white
cotton.
Right. So I didn't get my hand closed in time, and I just impacted as hard as I could. And then he just went down on his butt, and they gave me the point. He quit competition after that. Yeah, he totally quit. Yeah, he totally quit. And I went off. I knew I hurt my hand, and then I went over and I picked up my bag, and then all the bones in my hand went sideways and stuff.
Oh, okay. So you hit him pretty good.
So I've had a few of those where, sometimes you don't know how bad the injury is until you get off.
For sure. Yep. Especially after the adrenaline kind of goes away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How about yourself? I think you said once about nationals, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, there was the concussion, the double concussion in nationals, which was definitely not a good situation. But probably my worst karate injury was in karate, but playing dodgeball.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so there it is. We used to always play dodgeball just kind of as a warm-up or just a fun thing to do. You know, people do it in the dojos for sure. And we were just throwing with our non-dominant hand. So I'm right-handed. I was throwing with my left hand. And basically all I did was I was trying to spin my body as fast as I can. Well, I spun my body around to try and throw with my left arm. There was somebody else that was right beside me that kind of locked my leg, and as I spun, my knee and leg stayed where it was, and the rest of my body went the other way, and I almost completely tore my LCL right off. It was so bad. The ambulance came, the paramedics came, and they had to put me on like laughing gas because they couldn't move me. Like they couldn't even move the knee. It was in so much pain.
Was it dislocated?
Oh yeah. It was pretty messed up. So yeah, they had to do that, and then they transported me to the hospital. And I don't actually really remember what happened after that at the hospital, but I was on crutches for about 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and this would have been in grade 7. So however old you are, and you're in grade 7. Okay. So yeah, that was my worst karate injury, playing dodgeball. Yeah, of all things, playing dodgeball. And then of course, the standard nose breaks and kicking elbows.
The most painful thing ever happened to me was when I tore my Achilles tendon.
Oh, I can imagine.
It was higher actually up. It was like halfway down my back of my leg. And I thought I had just done way too much plyometrics.
Yep.
And I thought someone had hit me with a golf ball.
Yeah.
And then I put my foot down. Oh, that was sore.
I've never had Achilles injury, but I've seen one live in person, and you can just hear that pop, and you can hear it go, and then the person's down and they fall.
Pop, pop. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Even just now, I'm even way more careful about how much I bounce.
For sure. Yeah, plyometrics and bounding exercises is something that people sometimes get too carried away with. For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I burn through books, as you know.
Yes, as we've discovered.
Yeah. And so a lot of times they don't hold my attention once I figure out what the author is writing about. But I've been reading a really great book called Let My People Go Surfing.
Yeah, you showed me this.
Yeah, by the founder of Patagonia.
Let My People Go Surfing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's awesome because it, Yvon, I can't remember how to say his name right because it's French-Canadian. He created Patagonia way back. Jan Channonard. And shout out, sorry I mixed up your name. Yeah. And it's great. He talks about his company. I highly recommend this book. I think the last book I was just loving was Win or Learn.
Win or Learn, yeah.
Right? Just
John
fantastic.
Kavanaugh, yeah.
And probably now this is like one that's really connected with me. And he created his clothing company. First he had a mountain climbing company. He was a mountain climber, surfer, and everything else. And then, started the clothing company and then started making his whole supply chain from where he got his cotton to his clothes and everything as close as he can to being as sustainable as he can. Okay. And then he asked, people, do you live an examined life? Do you ask questions about where things come from? How does that relate to karate? And I started thinking about it because back in 2010 when that big earthquake happened in Haiti.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And everybody remembers that.
Yeah. And I was writing for the JK Fan Karate magazine at that time, and I said to them, "Hey, why don't we do some sort of campaign to like raise money for them, right?" And their response was just the same as everybody else's response in Japan, and that's, well, the government takes care of fundraising for overseas disasters. So that's I said, well, the thing is, we're all in our dojos, hidden away, living our fantasy lives of training.
Do something, yeah.
Maybe we can do something from a distance, and I'm sure there are NGOs in Japan that did something and stuff. And there's nobody made a mistake. No one's bad for saying I'm not interested, but they just did make a connection. Well, then the next year there's a massive earthquake in Japan. Right. Yeah. Right. And then people all around the world are raising money for Japan, and we love Japan and all this sort of stuff, and at that point, a lot of people were connecting with us through the karate world. And I thought, see, we lost a moment. Yeah. We lost a moment. And are we living an examined life about what we do and how we do it? Are we trying to do things? Can we do things more simply? and can we offer something better to everybody? And I
Right.
always think about that in the karate club because, Kenzen means complete health. And it shouldn't just be the health we have of training on the floor, but maybe the things we use, the materials we use, and how we look at life.
Sure.
Because Yvonne here, I'm going to call him by his first name because I've just been listening to all his lectures, and I think I know him now. He's in his 80s. He says something. It's really true when you compete or you go for a black belt test or something. Is he climbs a mountain and he's climbed all the these really big, really hard ones for years and years. And the thing is, when you get to the top, there's no dancing girls.
No.
There's no dancing girls. There's no you get to the top and you realize there's nothing there. There's a
Turn around
view.
and go back.
You turn around and go back. You're there for 5 minutes. You turn around and go back. I remember getting to a podium and getting a medal or passing, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's not like they just hand you $1 million or something like that. And definitely no dancing girls.
Yet.
Maybe we bring over some of those MMA dancing girls, right? But so it's the journey. How we're going to live that journey.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I live really close to the karate club is so I can walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it made me think. He had this really cool, I got to tell you this one really cool story is, so it was sometime back in the 80s, early 90s, they were starting opening stores, and then they opened this one new store, and in 3 days, all the employees got sick.
Mm.
And so they closed it down, got an environmental engineer in there to test the air and everything, and then the report came back and said, well, the air conditioning unit is broken. It's recycling all the air and poisoning all the employees.
That's good.
And they went, poisoning with what? And they said formaldehyde.
That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, and they said formaldehyde. We're a clothing company. Where's the formaldehyde coming from? And the environmental engineer said, all industrial cotton is made with so many chemicals.
Right. Yeah.
That a lot of it has formaldehyde in it. It has parts of Agent Orange, and that stuff is soaked in all your clothing and all your dye.
Great.
And they were like, we're poisoning our employees. We're poisoning our customers, and so anyway, they went through the whole supply chain and went to organic cotton, which was difficult to change over. And
Sure.
And so everyone said, hey, you're crazy. You're crazy to it's cheap, it's fast. That's why we have it. That's why we can get stuff. It's a consumer society. He's like, no, we need to do this right. There's no such thing as perfect sustainability.
Yeah.
But we'll try and do it the best we can. He always found that the best way to improve was to add quality. If I add quality, I overcome every problem. If I cut corners,
quality goes down.
Quality goes down, right?
Yeah.
In karate clubs and karate training is the same.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely
right?
makes sense.
Add quality.
Yeah.
What's something wrong with your training? Add quality.
Yeah. Yeah, some people get carried away. I have to train so much, thinking quantity. Well, you got to keep going. Well, are those hours that you're putting in quality hours, a quality training,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, sometimes you don't need, and we've talked about this before, sometimes you don't need, 8 hours of training a day or even 5 hours of training today. Maybe you just need an hour and a half of good quality training, and that'll be way more beneficial.
Exactly. They say, if you're going to compete, train like you're going to compete.
Yeah.
Like train really aggressively. You watch the Agiev videos where he's training. He trains like he's fighting, like in a competition.
Yeah.
Like super aggressive.
Yeah. Well, I'm like GSP's coach for Zahabi used to always say they used to train, worse than they'd ever have any encounter in the ring, so that they're prepared when they go to the competition, that they've already been through hell, as they said. They're prepared for anything that they can throw at them. So it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I'm teaching a open self-defense workshop.
That's right. Yeah.
And I've done millions of self-defense workshops, and you have to be very careful and ease everybody into it.
Yes.
But you have to also tell them, there is absolutely no way of knowing what type of self-defense training you need, because you don't know what's going to happen to you.
For sure.
Obviously, and a lot of people know the main ways of looking at self-defense is, be aware of your surroundings, avoid problems, escape problems, and if you can't escape, fight your way out of problems.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
There's lots of versions of that, but that's the really simple way of thinking about it. But if you have to defend your life, you just entered the Olympics.
Yeah.
Right? And it might only be a split second or 2 split seconds or something, but you have to be ready to react. Now, I know that some people train with the big body suits, and I've done that. I've taught self-defense classes, and then we put on the big body armor.
Right.
And
so you can actually hit.
People actually hit as hard as they can and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you lose about 30 kilos that day.
Yeah, I'm sure
when
you do.
wear those.
Just from wearing the body.
Holy cow, you lose
Yeah.
a lot. But there's other ways of teaching the thing is it's about teaching reaction, how to react properly.
Totally, yeah.
So anyway, living an exam life was something I've really been thinking about, and how to live a more simple life.
Yeah, I can't remember if you told me. I was just thinking about reacting, and you have to learn how to react properly. Can't remember if you told me the story, who it was, but they used to teach self-defense classes against somebody with a gun. They used to teach it with their hand technique. They used to always, do their little move, take the gun away, and then they'd hand it back to the person to try again. So they would keep doing that over and over again, take it away from them and hand it back. Well, one time, apparently, somebody, whoever it was in one of these training things, had somebody pull a gun on them. So what did they do? They took it quickly away from them, and they handed the gun right back to them.
I've heard this.
Because that's what they were just tailored to do, is take it away and hand it back. And I can only imagine the gunman, like, what is going on here? You just took this away, and now you're giving it back to me.
I heard that story. I don't know if it's an urban myth.
It might be. I don't even know.
But it wouldn't surprise me. It's like, it's just like teaching fighters, point karate fighters. They go 1, 2, and then they put their hands down.
Yeah.
Which drives me crazy.
For sure, yes.
Or when you teach a self-defense class, say, okay, you got to run that way, and then you practice in class. They take 2 steps, and they go, okay, remember, if there's an actual self-defense situation, you would actually have to run.
Yes.
So you have to actually train that reaction.
I like when you ask the class, all right, when's the only time that you should have your hands down? And there's, I don't know. And you say, when you want to fight me. That's right. That's when you can have your hands down.
You can have sloppy technique when you fight me.
Yeah.
That's it. Other than that,
yeah.
How dare you?
And just about those reactions. That's why I think it's really beneficial too when you have kumite training to train with all different kinds of sparring partners, because you don't know how everybody reacts differently, everybody moves differently, and especially if you're competing or going for your black belt, you don't know or any belt, you don't know who you're going to go up against in kumite. So the more people you see, the more styles you see, the better you'll be able to react to them.
And I think that also goes with having different senior ranks watch your kata performance.
Yeah, for sure.
Because everyone's gonna say something slightly different.
Yeah.
Like some Japanese instructors just go, dame, which means just horrible,
No
wrong,
good.
dame, chigao, wrong, chigao, wrong. You're like, what's wrong? Well, zenbu, everything, right? And and I need
super helpful.
I need I need some critical thinking response here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. All right, guys. Well, let's transition into a little bit of karate global news.
So I see that Donald Trump wrote this news article on InsideTheGames.biz about the Paris Open.
Donald Trump wrote it.
Yeah, because it starts off with a huge Japanese team seeks glory in Paris Karate 1 Premier League.
A huge.
I mean, it's just gorgeous. You've just never seen anything like it.
It's the best Japanese team that you've ever put together. It's my Japanese team. It's what right. I did. I put it together.
They're good people. It's good.
Yeah.
Last year, Japan took 12 athletes and got 6 medals. This year,
we're talking the Paris
Open.
Yeah.
This year, they're taking 41 competitors.
That's insane. Almost 4 times as many.
I know. It's huge.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's massive. And, Craig is over there right now as an assistant assistant coach of the Canadian national team. And he said that the first day of competition with kata was like 8:30, and they were planning to finish at 10:30 at night.
Yeah, that's good. A good 14-hour day.
Because there's tons and tons of competitors. So a really big Japanese team is going over. And we'll talk about it more next week. But I thought this is it's quite interesting.
Yeah,
that some people thought not as many people would go this year, but a massive amount of people.
Turns out it's been a record-setting year for the Paris K1, yes. K1 Paris Open. So that's great. A huge team from Japan, and as we know, the most athletes that they've ever had at the K1 Paris. So again, as we're listening to this, you guys, the tournament is over, but we will discuss it for next week, and we'll also post some links for you guys to look at some of this stuff as well. So keep an eye out on that.
So in the bottom of that one, it talks about this amazing event on the 17th of June in 2017. The International World Karate Day.
That's right.
In Munich.
International World Karate Day.
It's international and it's world.
It's an International World Karate Day.
That's right.
Of the universe.
Well, I didn't get that far.
Well, we'll get there.
Did you see this letter? Did I copy it to you?
You did not.
So the president Espinosa of the WKF had said that they will have one in Munich. There'll be 1,500 karateka doing exceptional stuff, and amazing people will be there. But he's requesting that the 190 national federations should celebrate their own National Karate Day on a smaller scale, on a date to be decided by each national federation between January and May in 2017.
So between January and May, they should have a bunch of different National World Karate Days?
They should have a National Karate Day.
I see. But the National World Karate Day...
The International World Karate Day is
of course.
Munich, June 17th.
Okay.
Now, I'm guessing that there will be some sort of IOC meeting happening at the same time in Munich, June 17th, 2017, because this is leading up to the September decision on which city will host the 2024 Summer Olympic Games.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And more importantly, for us, if karate will be in the regular program.
That's right, if they'll be included in 2024 and going forward. So another huge announcement coming down that way. I heard also that, I know we talked before, that the kind of cities in the running for the next Olympics for 2024 was Paris and Los Angeles, right?
Paris, Los Angeles, and Prague.
Yep. So I saw an article, I would have to go back and find it, but I saw an article where they're prepared for the first time to announce the next two Summer Olympics in both 2024 and 2028, one being in Toronto, one being in Paris and one being in Los Angeles.
Oh, so they're going to pick the two cities
at the same time.
Same time for two separate. Wow.
Never been done, I guess, before. And I guess the reasoning was because Los Angeles only put their bid in for 2024 and they wanted an announcement or whatever. So, and then they weren't bidding for 2028. So they said they would have to, there's potentially going to give it to them and then announce Paris for the next one. So I don't know exactly where I saw that. I'd have to go back and try and find that article. But yeah, it sounds like they're going to announce both of them. So interesting stuff.
That's amazing. On Wikipedia, it says that the bidding for 2028 will start in 2019, and they make the announcement 2021.
All right. I could be giving some complete wrong data. It might be 2024.
Fake news.
Fake news. He's a faker. It could be 2024, maybe then the Winter Olympics following 2026. No, that wouldn't make sense.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I saw maybe it was on like The Onion or something like that. TheOnion.com.
Well, there's a lot of stuff out there. Right now, Hamburg, Germany, Paris, France, Budapest, Hungary, Los Angeles, United States, and Rome, Italy.
Yeah, I'll have to go back. I'm sure I can find it in my history and dig a little bit deeper into that. But yeah, the announcement anyway for 2024 is coming down later this year.
Hoo-yah! Wah-yah! Hoo-wah!
Okay, so this week for the karate training tip, Richard, have you ever heard a coach say, or maybe heard this just somewhere along the line, that karate athletes don't need aerobic training because we're not an aerobic sport?
Yes, I've heard that. And I've heard that, actually today I was listening to a podcast where the guy said a karate athlete should really never go jogging.
And that's what I'm trying to sort of get at, is somebody, we know now, it's pretty well known by most people that aerobic training, whether you're doing an aerobic sport or not, is beneficial, especially
Absolutely.
for the recovery from the anaerobic capacity and the anaerobic performance that you're doing. Aerobic is absolutely important, especially for tournaments that are going on for days. So I've had certain karate athletes ask, well, what kind of aerobic training should I be doing, and how exactly should I be doing it? And
Zumba.
Just do Zumba, yoga, hot yoga, of course, and CrossFit. No. So what aerobic training should you be doing? Well, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Usually, and I think you read this in the book, running on cement or just running in period, sure, you're working your aerobic energy system. However, is it completely necessary? As karate athletes, we don't run. We don't really do any strides whatsoever in terms of running. So while it is using your aerobic energy system, it's probably not something that you really need. What is probably better to do, and what we talked about and what you were saying, is that it's probably better just to do karate, to do karate techniques, to do some bag work, do some shadow boxing, just do some kind of karate performance at an aerobic level. So that just means, your heart rate somewhere around 60 to 75%, and just kind of monitoring that and just going, not 100% intensity, just kind of moving around for an extended period of time, 20, 25, 30 minutes. And you can just do it that way. It makes way more sense, and it's way more karate specific. Yeah.
Totally. I remember in my late teens getting ready to go to Japan for the first trip, I started doing lots of jogging.
Yeah.
And so I got up to like an hour. I could jog, no problem. And my sparring just didn't get any better.
Yeah.
It just didn't get any better.
No.
So when I transitioned to going bag work or skipping or shadow boxing or just setting up circuit stations, then that was a hard aerobic workout.
Sure.
We used to count them and how many T-shirts we went through.
That's right.
And the karate, and then the actual karate technique itself just took off. Right? Like it just got so much stronger.
Yeah, because you're doing more karate specific stuff. It just makes sense.
Yeah, like even sometimes in the class, we just take a whole bunch of different drills and we do them at like 60% speed as our warm up.
Yeah.
I remember meeting lots of really top level karate guys that would just do that. Of course, some people really like running.
Sure, and that's the thing. If you like running, fill your boots.
Yes.
Fill your running shoes.
It's kind of like doing jumping jacks. Like I always thought jumping jacks, like instead of doing jumping jacks, I should be sparring.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I understand jumping jacks were like, mentally tough or keep going, but I was just, your time's limited.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? And I mean, there's obviously some impact issues as well with running and different types of aerobic exercise. So why not do something that you're familiar with and that you already are doing anyway that'll directly improve your performance?
Yeah, I think it's neat you brought this up because I remember once being at this training camp that we took the university high school kids to in Japan. It's in Iyama-shi in Nagano-ken. Iyama is like way up in the mountains in Shi. And so I hadn't run in years and years and years, but I've been doing tons and tons of circuit training.
Okay.
And so the kids were like, we're going to go for a run every day. We kind of have to take them for a run every day. It's 6:30 in the morning. And normally the team captain goes. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just jog behind them. And then when I'm toast, I'll just walk. And there I was, jogging with everybody up at the front.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Then
how'd this happen?
On a mountain, you said? At elevation?
On the side of a mountain, middle of summer, 35 degrees,
Nice.
90% humidity.
Nice.
I was like, I can't believe I can actually jog.
Yeah.
And then at lunchtime, I went out for a jog. And I was like, I can't believe I'm jogging. And my legs were a little sore after because I wasn't used to the impact as much.
Yeah.
But I think you bring up a good topic is that we need to be aerobically fit, but we don't need to run.
Yeah, yeah. And again, unless running is your thing and you like to go for runs and, get you in your zone or whatever, feel free. I used to be into running and, until I got some hip issues and I got some impact issues and that kind of thing. And then I just transitioned. Actually, I like swimming now quite a bit, but again, it doesn't really improve my karate performance, but it does.
I like sprinting.
Well, sprinting is more anaerobic.
Anaerobic, yeah.
You could obviously do high intensity interval training with sprinting for sure.
Yeah.
And absolutely, you should do sprinting as well.
Like you sprint, then light jog, sprint, light jog.
Totally. Yeah, you're talking fartlek training now.
You betcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oikosu training. Oikosu, run in front of someone else.
Yeah. We've done that here before, jogging around and then sprint and then jog. So anything like that is good. But yeah, absolutely. It makes me a little annoyed, I think, when I hear, maybe they're just not educated in it, I guess, but hearing people say that because karate is not an aerobic sport, that we don't need to be aerobically trained. You absolutely need to be aerobically trained. Yeah, it directly affects your anaerobic performance.
I think in all combat sports, especially the more traditional ones where you're flat-footed, is just doing kata, just doing kumite,
right?
Or just doing kata and just doing moving kihan is not enough.
No.
Because you can get tired for sure, but you're not, and your heart rate does go up, and you're moving, which is anybody walks into any martial arts club and starts moving around is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't buy into the one martial art is better than another, but sometimes you have to be more fit. Like you have to do something that's more fitness related.
For sure. Yeah. So just a little bit of karate specific training, I guess, is the way to go. Karate aerobic training.
Yeah. When would you do your aerobic training in a class? Beginning or the end?
You should always do your aerobic training at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do your anaerobic strength training at the end. Or,
No, anaerobic should be more before near the beginning, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually power stuff is first. So
Power
anything
stuff's first.
that requires that really explosive movements, especially from the legs, you want to do that first because, of course, you don't want to do those when you're tired.
Yes.
And agility stuff should also be done early on. So if you're doing shuttles or shuffles or side lateral movements or stuff like that, that should all be done early as well. And then most karate athletes don't do strength stuff, but then you would start incorporating strength. And then, aerobic is always saved for the end. Should always be saved for the end. Yeah. That's why when we do the beep test on the fitness test, it's at the end.
It's at the end.
Yeah.
The beep tests.
Everybody's favorite beep test.
Those are the days.
Yes. Speaking of which, next weekend, this coming weekend when this comes out on Monday, we will be going to Vancouver for the end of season testing with the BC team.
That's right. That'll be quite interesting.
It'll be quite interesting to see. And this will be the first year where we'll be able to look at their beginning of season fitness testing and their end of season fitness testing. And then we're also going to do a little bit of testing at the actual national championships before they compete. So it'll be able to see, how their fitness has improved and how that relates to performance. So really exciting stuff.
So you're the guy to talk to now.
Yeah.
You're the guy to go, all right, so I'm starting my season, ending my season. This is my age. This is my category. I'm a kata person. I'm a kumite person. So where do I fall? How am I falling?
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting if anybody's improving since we did it last time.
Sure. I would hope so. But again, it all depends on what they've been training, how much they've been training, and really how hard they went the first time, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if they're at 70% of their capacity, then coming into this next one, they're at 85% of their capacity. Hopefully they can hit the nationals at 95% of what they're actually capable.
That's the idea, for sure. That's the idea. And that's what we're going to look at, because we're going to measure at nationals. We're actually going to do, surprise, surprise, if you're listening to this on the BC team, you're actually going to do some vertical jumps so that we can actually see, where you are. You should be able to jump higher. You should have more fitness levels at that point just before competition than you did, obviously, at the beginning of season. So we'll be able to tell.
That's right. The best time to do that? To test their vertical jump is when they win a match.
Just right when they come off. Actually, you're not wrong.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they've done it before, not in karate, obviously, but I've seen a few studies where they've done it where they'll have a force platform, which is easy to do, and as soon as somebody comes off the mat, they say, "Hey, go on that force platform, give me a high jump, and go on your way." So, of course, then you don't want somebody to get injured. You would feel pretty bad if you asked them to do a high jump and they rolled their ankle on the way down or something. Yes. But yeah, that is actually a really good way to do it too. So
I just think they're so hyperactive at that point, the bounding and stuff.
Totally, the adrenaline's going, so it's good.
The other thing that we're going to have on February 4th is sports psychologist.
That's right. Yeah. So maybe we can talk about that next week a little bit about the importance of that, and then after we see him, we'll talk about kind of what he said. But yes, sports psychologist for karate athletes is huge. I mean, karate, especially competition, well, even training is very much mental. Yeah.
Well, Professor David, after he's been watching a bit and studying it, he has said that in his mind, for competition, karate is 85% mental, 15% physical.
Yeah.
But you have to be super physically fit and be the same in the dojo too.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah.
Right on. So we're almost at the end of Ichigatsu. Ichigatsu is January.
We are almost at the end of January. In fact, yeah, when this comes out, we'll just be a couple days.
Ichigatsu, and happy Chinese New Year to everybody out there.
January, is that from January to February? Is that the Chinese New Year?
It's about that. I think officially, and I could be wrong, it's the 30th, but there's lots of celebration going on this weekend and lion dancing and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So happy Chinese New Year to everybody. And now we're going into February. Nigatsu.
Shortest month of the year.
Plum season in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Plum season. And if you're in Japan, this is their end of school year. The last classes of your school year will be in February.
Oh, that sounds nice.
They go from April to March.
Right.
Because they go on the system of, and this comes from China, where you change things in spring when the world is renewing itself.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So that'll be February, and man, there's so many big things happening. With and there's so many more events that we want to talk about too. But Karate Canada National Championships in Quebec City, February 24th. U.S. Open, April 14th. Canada Open, June 3rd. We've got the logo.
Looking sharp. We got people already emailing, trying to sign up, getting going. It's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to all be online. It's going to be really cool because you can, as a club instructor or as an individual, you're able to go online. You'll be able to register for your divisions. You can pay online, which is actually really handy. You know, when you think about like, do I have any stamps? Do I have a, you just end up paying like, I'll pay that extra $4 service fee just so I don't have to go to the post office. Here's the other thing with the waivers, you'll do your waiver online.
That's great.
And
so much easier.
So much easier. And if you haven't done your waiver, your registration doesn't go live. So you can't go to the next stage. You can't even go to pay
until you do the
waiver.
waiver.
The waiver's done.
Perfect.
Waiver's super short, super easy. Then it's all going to be, all the data will go into sport data, and then you'll be able to see it there.
Perfect.
And be rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
So everybody keep that Canada Open June 3rd, 4th date in your mind. And you know what? That's episode 20 in the can.
Episode 20. What's episode 20 in Japanese again?
Niju.
Niju
or Hatachi.
Hatachi. In this context, what would it be? Hard to say.
Dai Niju.
Dai Niju.
Yeah, number 20. It's like tournaments are like Dai Yonju Yan.
All right.
Right? It means like it's a counter for counting something. What do they just have? 44th National Japan Championships.
Yeah.
So, Dai Niju.
All right. Well, this has been episode Dai Niju of Karate Sanroku Maru.
That's right.
And here we are. I'm Kalan Anglos.
I'm Richard Mosdell.
Thanks again for listening, guys. Don't forget our website, karate360podcast.com, Karate360 on all the social media. Every Monday morning, these come out. Next week, we'll talk a lot about the K1 Paris Open Championships. But for now, we're signing off.
Yeah, share all over Facebook for us. Get the word out. And thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Sanroku Maru.